Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Sean Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and the big one today, of course, was the second day of the budget session of Parliament, which saw the entire united opposition walk out over the land acquisition bill. What was that controversy, and the whole host of other stories that we have lined up for you over the next half hour just coming up right now. But first, the headlines we're tracking. Land acquisition ordinance echoes in both houses of Parliament as the united opposition takes on the government. BJP looks to allay fears, says it will hold consultations with all parties. Signals of Kejriwal-Anna reconciliation. The Delhi Chief Minister leads all his 66 legislators to join Anna Hazare's agitation against the land acquisition ordinance. The BJP and PDP sign a deal on a common minimum program to form a government in Jammu and Kashmir, swearing in likely on Sunday. Russian President Vladimir Putin says war with Ukraine is unlikely even as the ceasefire falters, with both sides refusing to pull out heavy weapons. And West Indies' Chris Gayle slams the World Cup's first ever double ton. Multiple records are shattered as the Caribbeans thrash Zimbabwe. Top story this evening. United opposition today cornered the government in the upper house on the ordinance promulgated to amend the land acquisition rules. Non-NDA parties in the house labelled the ordinance as anti-farmer. On its part, the government assured it would hold consultations with all parties and find a way out.
Soon after obituary references and listed papers laid on the table in the Rajya Sabha, Congress's Anand Sharma raised the land acquisition bill.
Question is not of whether the ordinance has been issued.
Sharma slammed the government for taking the ordinance route, saying changes were being made to a law passed in 2013. The move, he said, violated a consensus between all parties at the time, including the BJP.
It has to be withdrawn. As of today, the law which was there, passed by both the houses of Parliament, has been arbitrarily changed against the interest of the farmers, against the interest of the poor.
Finance Minister and Leader of the House Arun Jaitley stepped up in defence, pointing out the number of ordinances issued by previous governments. He rejected the anti-farmer jibe, claiming the amendment in fact benefited that section.
हमने हर कानून में उन 13 में भी जो अलग रखा था, ये कहा कि 4 गुना मुआवजा किसान को दिया जाए। हर एक जो अपवाद रखा है, उन पुराने 13 जो अपवाद यूपीए ने रखे थे उसके साथ, उससे ग्रामीण क्षेत्र को लाभ होने वाला है।
But the opposition were buying none of it. The opposition, that's in a bigger majority here than in the Lok Sabha, has lined up against the government's land ordinance. Cutting across party lines, leaders targeted the government on provisions of the land ordinance, even calling it a retrograde measure harking back to British rule.
ऐसा बदला कि अंग्रेजों का कानून के पीछे छूट गया। 120 बरस बाद हिंदुस्तान के किसानों का खेत और खलियान लेने का जो मामला है, इनके पास मैसिव मेजॉरिटी हो गई है, तो ये बुलडोज और कुचलना चाहते हैं देश को।
उस भूमि अधिग्रहण विधेयक में तो जो किसानों के हित में जो शर्तें रखी गई थी, तो लेकिन दुख की बात यह है कि उन शर्तों को इस सरकार में तो उल्टा कर दिया गया।
बात करके उस पे भी बात करके रास्ता निकाला जा सकता था, लेकिन आपने उसको बाईपास किया।
Responding to objections raised by members, the finance minister promised discussions and consultations with all political parties on this issue.
Responding in the same spirit, I will convey his suggestion in a very positive manner to the minister concerned for appropriate action, where he suggested that the government must have discussions with all the concerned parties. I'll certainly convey.
All right.
The Congress has called for the ordinance to be suspended till consultations with all parties are complete. The government has held back on any such promise. In the Lok Sabha, the opposition staged a walkout. Opposition parties also staged protests outside Parliament. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
The government today introduced the Land Acquisition Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha despite the uproar by the opposition. In response, the opposition parties walked out of the House. They've accused the government of being anti-farmer and anti-poor. But the government reiterated that it was ready to discuss the issue thoroughly.
This was perhaps the first time in the 16th Lok Sabha that the opposition stood as one against the government. But amid the uproar, Rural Development Minister Birendra Singh introduced the Land Acquisition Amendment Bill in the House.
Madam, I beg to move for leave to introduce the right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement Amendment Bill 2015.
Opposing this, MPs of the Congress, left parties, Samajwadi Party, TRS, YSR Congress, BJD, Trinamool Congress and even the government's ally, the Swabhimani Shetkari Sangathan walked out of the House. The opposition claims this bill is anti-farmer and anti-poor.
तो ये जो एटीट्यूड है गवर्नमेंट का बुलडोज करने का, इसके खिलाफ आज किसान जो किसान वहाँ पर बहुत ये कर रहा है और किसान विरोधी बिल है और आज बाहर भी एजिटेशन चल रहा है, हर जगह एजिटेशन चल रहा है। ये उनका एटीट्यूड ठीक नहीं है, इसीलिए हम वॉकआउट करते हैं।
Then under Rule 72(1),
ऑर्डिनेंस को ये करना है।
I oppose the right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement Amendment Bill 2015. This is the most anti-farmer, anti-poor legislation possible.
एनडीए का एक हिस्सा हूँ, मेरी संगठन एनडीए का हिस्सा है, फिर भी मैं विरोध करता हूँ क्योंकि ये बिल लाने से, ये बिल मंजूर करने से किसानों को अच्छे दिन आने वाले नहीं है, बुरे दिन आने वाले हैं।
Amending the bill, the government had brought an ordinance in which 5 more projects were exempt from the application of the bill. These include industrial corridors, PPP projects, rural infrastructure, affordable housing and the defence sector. The opposition argues that the passing of this version of the bill defeats the purpose of the original act.
There are two major issues that we are opposed to. The first major issue is the consent clause is being compromised. The consent clause giving the right to the landowners, to the farmers, at least 70% of the people who are supposed to give consent, then only the land was supposed to be acquired, it is being withdrawn.
The government in turn says it is ready to take into account the suggestions of the opposition. It has also accused the opposition of insulting the majority.
इसमें कोई किसी का कोई आपत्ति आई तो बहस के दौरान चर्चा करने के सरकार तैयार है, मगर आरोप करना, राजनीति करना ये देश के हित में नहीं है, किसान के हित में नहीं है। हमारा सरकार किसान के हित को सबसे ज्यादा प्राथमिकता देने वाले है। ये सरकार किसान अनुकूल सरकार है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has told the BJP that there is no need to back off on the process on the proposed amendments. But in the same breath, he also said that the opposition's suggestions should be taken into account. The party has now formed an internal committee to create a strategy to tackle the issue. It's clear that the BJP is on the back foot on the land acquisition issue. Shyam Sundar's report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the correspondent Shyam Sundar has been tracking all those developments that have been happening inside the parliament as far as this major bill is concerned. And Shyam, the entire opposition seemingly united as far as this bill is concerned. The government last time tried to really push a lot of ordinances through. I mean, when the House wasn't in session, and that entire ordinance route now seems to have hit a roadblock.
Definitely, Ishan, in 16 Lok Sabha, for the first time I have seen this kind of things happening in Lok Sabha. We have seen that sometimes Congress is agitated and Samajwadi Party and left parties, they are supporting, or even Trinamool Congress is supporting, but generally parties from South India, they were sitting quietly, or at times Biju Janata Dal, they were not participating in the protests. But today, even Swabhimani Shetkari Sangathan, which is part of NDA, that party joined the protests with the Congress and other parties, and leader of Shetkari Sangathan, he said that if government goes ahead with this bill, then farmers of this country will never forgive this government. And then BJP is also very concerned, and BJP's concern is that BJP is worried that they are branded as pro-rich, pro-corporate government, and they are branded as anti-farmer government by the opposition, and we all know that many the farmer organizations are on the protest route. So it is a very big challenge for the BJP, and that's why Prime Minister Modi decided to talk to NDA allies, and BJP has formed an internal committee in the chairmanship of Mr. Satyapal Malik. So BJP is also very concerned on this issue, and they know that it is a very sensitive issue, and two crucial elections, Bihar and West Bengal, and especially West Bengal land acquisition is a big issue. Mamata Banerjee came to power on that issue. So BJP has to take all these things in the consideration, and then they have to go ahead, and what I feel is this ordinance the BJP may try to pass, but there will be certain changes in this bill, and opposition and there is a clear-cut change in the body language of the government.
Right.
The government is saying that we are ready to accommodate opposition suggestions. They can move amendments. So BJP is very nervous on this bill.
All right, Shyam. Very quickly also, if you can just fill us in on the technicalities as far as the passage of this bill is concerned. Also the fact that there are so many other ordinances, in fact a total of 6 of them, including the land acquisition ordinance, that have to pass through. So in terms of the future days as far as the House is concerned, 20th March is when it goes into recess to read the budget. Till then, what do we expect to happen?
Well, there are total 6 ordinances, and especially 2 ordinances are very crucial for the government. One is related to coal mining and coal blocks, and other is insurance sector bill. And insurance sector bill is very high on the priority list of the government. But we have seen that the government wanted to withdraw these bills, these ordinances from Rajya Sabha, but opposition didn't allow this to happen. And real test of the government will be in the Rajya Sabha. And if even government want to go for the joint session, in that case either government withdraws this bill from Rajya Sabha and introduce in Lok Sabha and pass this bill in the Lok Sabha, or it get defeated. Then only one joint session can be called. So it is a very tricky and technical issue, and especially the pressure is on the government, that government is taking ordinance route and bypassing parliament. So government has to take really caution when it goes ahead on these issues.
All right, so the parliament is not just about the numbers, it's also about voices, and voices certainly were heard today. Shyam Sundar, thanks very much for that update. All right, moving on, in fact staying with this story, because the voices were heard outside Parliament as well. Protests against the land acquisition bill happened at Jantar Mantar as well. In fact, hundreds of farmers joined activist Anna Hazare's agitation at the Jantar Mantar, demanding that the government should withdraw the ordinance. Now, a host of political leaders, including the current Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, shared the dais with Anna Hazare.
Pressure is mounting on the government to withdraw its controversial land acquisition bill. Besides facing a united opposition in both houses of parliament, it's facing flack from activists and farmer unions who are camping in Delhi. Anti-corruption activist Anna Hazare is leading the agitation against the government, warning that he won't relent until the new bill is scrapped.
ये सरकार अध्यादेश को वापस नहीं लेती है। हम आज जाकर, ये तो अब हर बार करते हैं, पद यात्रा निकालते हैं, लोगों को जगाते हैं, सभा करते हैं। अभी जाने के बाद लोगों को जगाने के लिए पद यात्रा निकालनी है गांव-गांव में।
Several political leaders cutting across party lines have lent their support to Anna Hazare. Former Team Anna member and current Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal joined Hazare along with his party's 66 new Delhi MLAs.
इन लोगों से जनता को उम्मीद थी
कि कुछ करेंगे, लेकिन दोस्तों इन्होंने तो कांग्रेस के कानून को भी संशोधन करके ऐसा कानून लेके आए हैं कि अब ये भी सरकार एक तरह से प्रॉपर्टी डीलर का काम करेगी बड़े बड़े उद्योगपतियों के लिए।
The BJP is reaching out to the farmers. Party President Amit Shah has set up an 8-member committee that will seek suggestions on the new bill. Several farmers' organizations have voiced serious concerns on the proposed amendments, stating that they will harm farmers' interests. With Vipin Chauhan in New Delhi, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, time for a very quick break, but coming up on the other side, a special series on expectations from the union budget. Just days to go for that. Today we focus on the future of the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act.
A far-reaching reform program.
मैं आज लाल किले की प्राचीर से विश्व भर में लोगों से कहना चाहता हूं, कम मेक इन इंडिया।
India's attempt to lift output and create jobs.
It could be India's most ambitious project yet. So can the government walk the talk? Watch India's manufacturing condom.
Only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back, you're watching the news at 6. Now, ending days of talks and deliberations and speculation, the BJP and the PDP today finally formally announced forming a coalition in Jammu and Kashmir. The announcement was made a short while ago after a meeting between BJP President Amit Shah and PDP's Mehbooba Mufti. The new government led by PDP Chief Mufti Mohammad Saeed is likely to be sworn in on March 1st. The PDP Chief is expected to meet PM Narendra Modi in New Delhi tomorrow, where both parties could make public a common minimum program on the basis of which they will govern Jammu and Kashmir. So let's listen into what Amit Shah and Mehbooba Mufti had to say after today's meeting.
काफी चर्चा के बाद, काफी बैठकों के दौर के बाद एक कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम पर करीब सहमति हुई है और कुछ ही दिन में जम्मू कश्मीर को पीडीपी बीजेपी अलायंस की पॉपुलर गवर्नमेंट मिलेगी।
ये जो सरकार बनेगी ये खाली पावर शेयरिंग की बात नहीं है। इट इज अबाउट टू विन द हार्ट्स एंड माइंड्स ऑफ द पीपल ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर और पूरे मुल्क को इसमें एक मौका है, एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है पूरे मुल्क के कि जो जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों में जो दूरियां हैं आपस में उसको मिटा के एक अच्छी, एक साफ सुथरी, करप्शन से साफ डेवलपमेंट के और पूरा जिससे पूरे इस स्टेट में, पूरे मुल्क में, पूरे खित्ते में शांति हो, ऐसी सरकार बनाने की हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
Now, the Delhi police has arrested one more person in the Petroleum Ministry leak case that was unearthed last week. A casual worker employed at the Defence Ministry was arrested for allegedly providing a forged identity card and official letterhead to a key accused in the case. Police clarified, however, there were no sensitive documents that were stolen or leaked from the Defence Ministry. With this, 13 people have been arrested in the corporate espionage case related to the Petroleum Ministry. One person has been arrested on charges of leaking documents from the Coal and Power Ministries. The case had broken last week with 5 accused being arrested red-handed outside the Petroleum Ministry office in central Delhi.
वीरेंद्र कुमार, शायद वीरेंद्र, ये एक कैजुअल एम्प्लॉई है जो AAO यानी कि ऑडिट अकाउंट्स ऑफिसर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस उसके ऑफिस में काम करता है। ही इज ए कैजुअल एम्प्लॉय, 2010 से ये काम कर रहा है। ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस के बाहर जो हटमेंट्स हैं, एल ब्लॉक हटमेंट्स, उसमें ये कहीं काम करता है। इसको गिरफ्तार किया है। इसने जो है ही इज पार्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्पिरेसी, तो उस चार्ज पे इसको गिरफ्तार किया गया है।
Now, the government today said that 841 people have died due to swine flu and the number of those affected has crossed 14,500. Speaking, the Rajya Sabha Health Minister JP Nadda, however, assured that no efforts will be spared in effectively dealing with the situation. He said that the drug used during the pandemic in 2009 and 10 remains effective for treatment even now. The deadly virus had pushed the death toll up rapidly in the last 2 months, with at least 35 more casualties reported in the last 24 hours.
I would assure the member and all the members that we are increasing our capacity so that the testing facilities are made more meaningful and see to it that spurious drugs are brought under control.
R.K. Pachauri today resigned as chairman of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. He has been accused of sexual harassment by a woman employee in his office. 74-year-old Pachauri was granted interim protection from arrest till the 26th of February by a Delhi court on Monday. Following his resignation, IPCC designated a vice chairperson, Ismail El Ghizloui, as in charge for the time being. And the countdown for the budget 2015, UPA's flagship scheme, MGNREGA, is one of the hot topics that's under debate. Not only are questions being raised over prospective budget cuts, but economists are warning that undermining the scheme itself could damage economic revival.
At a time when the NDA government says it wants to focus on rural development, there's growing concern for one of the flagship schemes of the previous UPA government. To recap, this is what the finance minister said about it in his interim budget last year.
The government is committed to provide wage and self-employment opportunities in rural areas. However, wage employment would be provided under the MGNREGA through works that are more productive, asset creating, substantially linked to agriculture and allied activities.
Despite Jaitley's promises on MGNREGA, 9 months after the Modi government took charge, there's growing concern of an impending budget cut for the world's first of its kind scheme. One that benefited rural India, especially the women and marginalized sections.
So certainly we are hoping that the NREGA budget will go back to that 54,000 level, perhaps even more. Just to put this number in perspective, it sounds like a very big number, but 33,000 crores is just 0.3% of the GDP. And this is 1/3 of 1% of GDP, which is providing employment to 25% of the rural population. So I think it's only fair that the budget for this program should increase.
Moving up from around 11,000 crore rupees in 2006-07 to 40,000 crore rupees in 2009-10. The allocation for MGNREGA stabilized at around 33,000 crore rupees. Current allocations are 34,000 crore rupees.
Actually, MGNREGA suffers from a design flaw. It concentrates on giving employment but does not monitor assets. We need to have labor-intensive employment-giving programs. For instance, we need to have programs which will improve drought, which will sort of improve productivity in agriculture through drought proofing by constructing new ponds or tanks or through afforestation. But all these assets must be measured. That is also not happening.
The 2015-16 budget comes at a time when the scheme is already under review. Over 70% wages are delayed. Less than 3% households have completing the promised 100 days of work.
I will get the work and I'll also get the wages. So what these low allocations are doing is both that work is not really being offered on demand as in the way that the law requires, but also that the work that people manage to do, if they don't get paid for months, then the whole purpose of NREGA gets vitiated.
Launched in 2006, the UPA government scheme is witnessing uncertain times. The new government is being accused of squeezing its funds in the upcoming budget. But irrespective of budget allocations, the scheme does drive demand and legally guarantees a registered household to get 100 days of work. Experts say any cut in this will mean the government is neglecting its legal responsibility, besides putting the livelihood security of millions at risk. Anshu J. Singh, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some international news now. Russian President Vladimir Putin today said that a war with Ukraine is unlikely. This just a day after Ukraine expressed their unwillingness to pull out heavy weapons as rebels continue shelling. Russia has been cornered from all sides on its alleged involvement in the escalating the crisis, but Putin repeated denials.
The Russian president chose to play it safe for now, reiterating that a war with Ukraine might be apocalyptic but unlikely. And he says the way to peace in Ukraine is clear. The deal struck in Minsk has to be fully implemented.
Я думаю, что такой апокалиптический сценарий
вряд ли возможен. И надеюсь, что до этого никогда не дойдет. Это уже совсем другая история, как говорится. И я очень рассчитываю на то, что это будет исполняться. А если это будет исполняться, то это верный путь к нормализации ситуации.
Foreign ministers from Ukraine, Russia, France and Germany are meeting in Paris on Tuesday to discuss the ceasefire. On Monday, foreign ministers from both Ukraine and Russia met UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon at the UN headquarters to discuss the crisis in Ukraine. Britain has warned of more sanctions on Russia.
Russia must be in no doubt that any attempts by the separatists to expand their territory, whether towards Mariupol or elsewhere, will be met with further significant EU and US sanctions. Russia must change course now, or the economic pain it endures will only increase. In the coming days, I'll be speaking to fellow G7 leaders to agree how we can together ensure that the Minsk agreements do indeed bring an end to this crisis.
On the ground, there is little to show any respite in fighting. Separatists continue to shell government positions in the port city of Mariupol, and the ceasefire almost seems one in name only. Ukrainian troops say they will begin withdrawal of heavy weapons only on orders from Kyiv, which will happen only if rebels stop firing. It's a stalemate for now. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some sports now, and West Indian opener Chris Gayle hit the first double hundred in World Cup history as the West Indies beat Zimbabwe by 73 runs in a Pool B match today. The 35-year-old left-hander reached 200 of 138 balls, eclipsing South Africa's Gary Kirsten's record of an unbeaten 188 against UAE in 1996. Gayle hit 16 sixes and 147 balls before being caught off 215 off the last delivery of the innings. Marlon Samuels also scored a century as the two batsmen made a world record partnership of 372 runs. West Indies ended their innings on 372 for 1. Zimbabwe were never in the chase as they kept losing wickets at regular intervals but managed a respectable total of 289. That's all from us. Goodbye.